Hey guys, how's it going? So I wanted to make a video here talking about the solar panels that we installed on our barn roof. Been getting some comments, people asking how it's working out. We covered the whole south side of our freestall barn. It's about 200 feet long. It's 324 panels. They're 550 watts a piece. So it'd be a 175,000 watt system, 175 kW, you could say. And then there's 5 25 kW inverters. They're up there on the roof. This setup is projected to be able to make all the electricity we need for our dairy farm, and then a little bit extra even above that. Kind of set it up that as the panels age and get a little bit less productive, 25 years from now they'd still be making all of our power if we were still using the same amount of electricity as we are now. They've been producing the electricity that we were expecting through the first 2 months here. But right now we're right at the beginning of December, so it's the worst time of year to have solar. The days are very short, the sun doesn't get very high in the sky. It only comes up and then kind of glances everything, goes down. Looking forward to getting into May, June, July next year, see how they produce then. We use a decent amount of electricity on the dairy with running the parlor, especially in the summer when we had the fans running. And so it feels pretty good to have these panels here producing all the electric that we're gonna need. So I'll be honest, putting solar panels up was not something we were wanting to do for a long time. I was kind of someone that didn't really believe in it. I thought it's something that only works if, it's subsidized and the government wants it to happen. There may be a little bit of truth to that, but I was actually impressed with, they will pay for themselves if you buy them straight up. The payback time's a little slow, so that's where some tax credits and things came into play and made it look a lot more enticing. It was just funny, this past winter we were talking to our financial advisor. They were saying to look into solar. It's something that can be really good for farms for the tax benefit, and we have big roofs like this on top of our barns that can make it more affordable. It's a good spot to put solar panels. It was funny then, less than a week later, I was at a birthday party for my daughter, one of her friends, and one of the dads there, he's saying that he runs a solar company. They install solar for ag and industrial, and Brett Nolt's his name, Twilight Renewables. So we got to talking, he was talking about the advantages, and so then he got me a quote within the next week there, and we went over the numbers, decided that made a lot of sense for us. We have a couple things going for us here. We have this big roof on top of our barn. I don't really like the idea of putting solar panels out in the field, especially on nice ground like this. Didn't want to do that. Attaching it to the roof, it's not something that's super risky. We made sure our roof was in good condition, and it actually can help extend the life of your roof, keeps the sunlight off of it. So if your roof's not leaking, then you put the solar panels on top, should be in good shape. We also have 3-phase power running to our barn, which does help a little bit with the efficiency of the panels from what I understand. Not that it doesn't work without it, but that was another little benefit that we had. So we purchased the whole system. We're not renting our roof out or anything, and we did not put batteries in. So we just tied it straight into the grid. So on a nice sunny day, our electric meter is actually going backwards and we're getting credit for electric. And then days like today when it's cloudy or at night when we're using power, then we're pulling it back. It'll even out throughout the full year. That will end up with just a little bit extra electricity. It's going to depend on the year a little bit. Some years you have more sun, some whole months are just more sunny than others. So we have DC current coming off the panels, goes up to the inverters there. They turn it into AC, and then they just ran conduit down the roof, down the side of the barn over to the electric service that comes in from the road, meets it there. We expect these solar panels to pay for themselves within 4 years. Basically, if you purchase them straight up with no tax credits or anything, you'd be looking at about a 10-year payback, which is a little bit slow for an investment, but there's a federal tax credit we're getting with it, and also a rebate from our power company that made the numbers work a lot better. And then also we can depreciate it within a few years, which will help tax-wise as well. I understand that the tax credit thing is something people don't always like, and I get it, but at the same time, you kind of have to play the game a little bit if you're going to be a legal business. And we can either give our money to taxes and they'll spend their money on whatever they want, or else if they're going to let us put solar panels in our barn and pay for all of our electricity, I guess probably need to be smart and do that. I will say I was impressed with actually how much power they can make, and the fact that they last for 25 to 30 years and are still 85% productive at that time. That's pretty impressive. I just liked it because it's an investment our farm can make, kind of separate from the milk. It's going to help with cash flow a few years from now. Once they get themselves paid off, we're going to be able to just lower our cost of production with another little avenue like that. There is grant money that we applied for as well. We didn't figure that into the numbers, but if we end up getting that grant money, then it'll make the payback even quicker. I'm personally a big free market guy, but at the same time, you kind of have to live in your whatever situation you're in and take advantage. Be smart, I think. That's probably the best bet you're going to have to staying in business. I'm not someone that believes that everybody should just have solar and that's the way that we can power the whole world. I'm not sure that we have the batteries or whatever it would take to make that possible. It seems like something that can fit in nicely to everything else that's done. I know our local power company actually likes it a little bit because there's some electric being generated out here farther from the main base, wherever they're sending power from. And then local businesses that are using power, it kind of offsets it and helps reduce their need to add big lines or whatever. That's why we got some rebate money from our power company. It's apparently an advantage to them on some level to have some power in our area anyway. If anyone's interested in solar in this area, southern Pennsylvania, or even the surrounding states, I'll put the link to Twilight Renewables in the description under the video there. You can check out the website. Brett Nolt, if you give him a call, let him know I sent you. He did a good job installing and was good to work with, so definitely would recommend. Also wanted to mention I'm wearing one of our new tan hoodies here. Check it out. I got the link in the description for that as well. I want to clean out the second bay of our commodity barn. This is where we have our soybean meal. We're going to be changing the way that we mix feed for the cows. We have a delivery coming tomorrow. We're going to put in this bay. I'm going to pile some of this in front of another feed, put some in a gravity bin or something. Putting some air in this tire, and then I'm going to park it in the shed. This will last quite a while. We only use about 20 pounds a day for the dry cow mix and 25 pounds for the heifers, so it's not too much. Hey guys, it's the next day. So they just delivered our pre-mix, put it in the second bay of the commodity barn. We've always added our mineral by hand in the feed room there while the silo's running, and they built this commodity shed 25 years ago. So it gave us the ability to have different commodities. Guess we figured we were saving money at least years ago. You could buy truckloads. The reason it's so high was for dump trucks. And we stopped doing that for quite a while now. We've been getting auger trucks to keep the grain towards the back. When you have a full bay, grain sticking out of the front of this barn, the wind's blowing it away, rain gets on it. It's not really a good setup. We recently priced out just getting a pre-mix made with our couple of soybean ingredients and some of the small minerals. 7 or 8 different ingredients we were adding just in one mix, all mixed to the right rate, and so we'll just put about 900 pounds of this in. A lot of farms actually do it this way. I guess we were saving a little bit of money keeping it more separate before, but at this point we're not even saving anything, and so a pre-mix is just a no-brainer. It'll make our job easier. It's also going to make the mix more accurate, because if you're adding small ingredients to a 12,000 pound mix of feed, how well is that getting mixed throughout the whole batch so that every bite that a cow's taking has the exact same amount of every ingredient? Probably wasn't getting perfectly mixed. I think our mixer does a good job, but you're asking a lot if you're putting a small bucket of something in. Maybe we'll see a little bump in milk from the cows. I'm not going to expect it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gives us a little bit of benefit. Either way, it's going to be a time saver. I'll get started feeding the dry cows and then check back in when we start the milk cow batch. It's not all of our grains in one mix. We still have the toasted corn in the first bay and then toasted beans in the third bay there. It's just those 3 grains and some hay and then the molasses. That premix is definitely a little heavier and dustier than I'm used to, so it's, you can see some of that dust drifting away, losing some of your value there. Either way, it gets dusty when we dump the mineral bags in the feed room before. It would always make dust too. So I just need to go add the corn silage and then we'll run it out to the cows. I don't think they're gonna notice any difference with the feed, but I'm kind of suspicious that we're gonna get a little better mix, a little more consistent mix with the minerals, and either way it saves us about 10 minutes of feeding and doesn't cost us any more money, so it's nice. All right guys, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.